Any hobos out there?
Hey, Rob, Keith here, WA6QXA.
WA6QXA, how's it going? Kind of quiet out here, huh?
It is kind of quiet. It got semi-busy about an hour ago, then it quieted down again. Spoke to Greg earlier. He said he was probably going to stream pretty soon, like right around this time, or by 8, he said. He was getting a lot of noise, so he said he was going to wait for about an hour.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I hope he's able to figure out his noise issue. That's too bad that he's having to deal with that. It seems like it's definitely something that turns on and off, so I wouldn't think it would be too hard to figure it out, but that's assuming it's something at his place.
Well, that's exactly what's happening. Everything we were talking, everything was fun, and all of a sudden, boom, it hit him. He says it kind of turns on like pretty much the same time every evening or when it happens, and it lasts for about an hour.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it listening to his stream, how bad it is. It's pretty bad. It's pretty annoying, especially if you're wearing headphones.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you.
Nice pun. Well, my noise level did come up as expected in the evening, like it always does. You know, my noise, it doesn't sound like any type of interference like what Greg hears, but it's just general noise, and it always starts, basically right around sundown.
Bob?
Yeah, go ahead.
K6EGG, do you have an AM radio, a little pocket transistor radio?
You know what, actually, I don't think that I do.
Well, I've told everybody how to detect and find your interference. Usually it does. When the light goes, sun goes down, cold temperature comes, there's moisture, and you get arcing across the power line. In order to find which power line it is, you have to have a little AM radio, and you put it in between the channels where you don't hear a station, and you go around to the telephone poles where there's insulators where the high power is, and you'll find the telephones and call Edison and come out and wash them off.
Well, that's an interesting idea. I mean, our power lines are underground, but having said that, there's actually ones that are above head, not that far from me. I mean, we're talking probably maybe a little more than a quarter of a mile away.
That'll do it. I mean, an arc, you're using what? He talked to me from Costa Mesa for a watch today, I think. Wherever he was down there, I think it's Costa Mesa. But, yeah, an arc is one line of sight. It doesn't make any difference. 10 watts will go to space. So.
Yeah, roger that. I'll have to look into that. I mean, could I turn the car radio on AM? Would that work?
I've never used the car radio, but you should try it. Just turn on AM and go back and forth across, just right in between the frequencies and see, drive around if you see any noise. It really works good with a little transistor radio when you get right up underneath the pole.
Yeah, roger on that, Alex. I appreciate the advice.
There you go, and you got to find out what atmospheric conditions. The other thing is, you want to be able to detect if it's a light. Some of these not fluorescent, but LED lights are making noise too.
Yeah, LED lights are pretty notorious for causing problems. It's ironic, though. I'm glad you mentioned that. We actually do have a street light right directly in front of our house. It's not LED, but that doesn't mean it's not causing noise.
Well, most likely it's the power line, but it could be it. You got to have a little transistor radio. Walmart still sells them. I think GE is the only one that still makes them. I got one from my mother when she was in the rehabilitation center, over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I was just, I happened to be looking on YouTube, and since Keith told me that he had talked to Greg earlier, and Greg was going to be coming out here and live streaming, and what do you know? I pushed K6EGG, and I did a search, and up it came. It looks like we're live. Hey, Greg, you out there? He's probably doing his introduction.
I've just looked at it once or twice. Is there a dissertation about what he's doing on his YouTube channel?
Well, I'm looking at the radio. He's definitely live. In fact, I can see my signal popping up there. But Greg himself is nowhere to be found.
He's on potty, over.
Yeah, roger that. It's funny, now I'm watching the number of people watching the stream go up. It started with 1, I assume me, and now it's 3.
Well, I have an unusual situation happen to me just a little while ago. I had a little scratch and pinch in my beard. Doggone it. I went, and then all of a sudden I started scratching, and this little spider got in there and bit me.
Oh, spider bites are nasty. You can't mess around. I've had some pretty bad spider bites in my life, and man, I still have a scar actually on my hand from a spider bite. It got infected, of course.
Well, it was just a little one, and it was kind of like a flea bite. But it turned out to be a spider. I guess I was laying down and it decided to crawl in there and bite me.
Well, as long as it's not a brown recluse.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm going to move my VFO up a little bit. Sometimes it looks like I sound best on the live stream when I'm about 2 notches below where Greg's at.
What does your readout say?
Right now it says 250.01, and Greg's says 250.03.
None of them are the same.
Exactly. Pretty far apart, actually.
Mine says 149.96, right?
Yeah, Roger, I mean, that's not too far off. You know, Fred seems to be all over the place. I've seen him be like, oh man, like, 0.9 to me when I'm trying to hear everybody at 0.0.
Well, the whole idea is tune in to where, don't go to 250, just tune where they're talking. Right? So, I know, Fred doesn't believe he's off frequency. You can't tell him, homie.
Yeah, I know, and I get tempted to tell him. Actually, when I was on here earlier this evening, I tuned Keith in, and I had Keith in really clear, and then Fred comes in and starts talking, and he's way off.
Well, tell him. Rattle the speech every time. That's the only way you're going to get him to straighten out.
Yeah, I guess I can start just by asking him what his readout says.
That's not going to make any difference. Forget about it.
Well, it'll make him think about it anyway.
No, I have problems all the time. I'll get on frequency. That's all you got to do. Get on frequency.
So does he not try to tune us in to make us sound good?
Well, I think his ears tune up.
Roger.
Well, he uses the RIT. He thinks his radio is more on frequency than anybody else is looking at 250 and uses the RIT.
or he left it on lock when we were before so he doesn't bump the dial, and he just decides to come in and start talking to us. So.
Yeah, I hear you, and I agree. I need to start saying something more often.
Well, I know you guys complain to me. I don't know why you can't. Tell the grounding Dutchman and low frequency.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm looking over this hot water heater we got my mom bought years ago, and I think I'll do the flushing it all myself now. I've got a PDF and I downloaded the manual, and so I guess I gotta go and I gotta change some vents and do some other things and flush it out with vinegar, and I got a water pump coming tomorrow, and it's a lot cheaper to do this part of the maintenance than to pay somebody.
Roger on that. That sounds like a pretty crappy thing you got there.
You mean having to work? Yeah, every day I got to do something with this place and this house and everything else. But man, they want $400 this time to come out and do a service on this tankless hot water heater.
Yeah, I hear you. Well. Greg, I still see no sign of him. K6EGG, November 6th, kilowatt X-ray, Rob in Riverside.
J60. Hired somebody.
Yeah, it was Curtis. Hey, Curtis, how's it going?
It's going wonderful. By the way, I'm tuned to 250.03. Does it sound like I'm on frequency?
Sure does.
Yeah, kind of does.
Okay, yeah, because everybody has their own. See, I in my mind, it seems like your voice should be lower than what I have it tuned to, but I guess everybody has their own idea of what they think is natural. Oh, by the way, I heard Greg on earlier, and he had mentioned he got some kind of new internet supplier or provider, which gives him much more bandwidth and much higher speed, and that would give him the ability to walk away from the live stream and not have to babysit it. So he might be doing something and not, not staying right there, and watch to make sure it doesn't lock up.
Curtis?
Yeah.
Do you have your RIT on?
No.
Okay, have you tuned to us yet, or are you still going to leave it on 250.03?
Well, let me tune where I think it sounds normal, then tell me if my voice sounds normal to you.
Marietta Littleham, whose place was white as snow, wherever it is that Mary went, that ham was sure to go. How now, brown cow? Are you tuning me in yet? Over.
Okay, I'm at 250.10, and to me, this is where your natural voice would be, but since I've never met you in person, I really don't know.
Okay, well, that sounds right. It sounds right. You sound right now, but you don't sound good on that particular situation there on 250, over.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, I was listening to my voice on Greg's streaming, and my voice to me sounded like it was too high. I mean, it sounded good, but just too high. So I guess that's just one of the things, a single sideband. Everybody, if I knew you personally and talked to you, a lot, then I can probably tune you in better. But in my thinking, this is what I'm hearing now is what your voice to me should sound like.
Okay, what about on Greg's live stream?
Well, I have it on right now, but I'm not listening to my voice. I'd have to turn the volume down on this radio and kind of rewind it a little bit and listen.
Okay, well, if he go ahead and I'll rewind it. You mean you can't listen to it live?
Well, I'm listening. I use headphones when I'm talking on the radio, so I'd have to take them off and then turn the volume up on my laptop computer.
Okay, don't bother. Rob, why don't you tell him he sounds good, all right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to listen to yourself live. You kind of have to go in there and rewind it, which isn't a problem. But I'm still on 0.01. I haven't moved it, haven't tuned Curtis in.
Okay, well, your voice to me sounds natural. To me, on 03, it sounded like, hey, like Mickey Mouse a little bit.
Yeah, Roger, so why don't you try tuning in to my voice, and then I'll come back and see how you sound in response. So test 1, 2, 3, Mary had a little lamb, etc. 3, 2, 1, test, ready, go.
Okay, to me, this is where I'm tuned. This is where, to me, your voice sounds the best, at least in my mind. Your audio has, more bass and good trebles, and it sounds, natural. Of course, I can listen, at any tone. It's just, this is what I think you would probably sound like if I met you.
Yeah, Roger, and actually you sound a lot better to me too, so that actually worked out pretty well.
So I'm on 250.20.
Wow, that's a long ways away.
I don't know, maybe because my signal is bouncing around the mountains using my omnidirectional. Maybe that's possible.
Did you see the live stream on?
Yeah.
I don't see it on YouTube enough. It's called the K6EGG, right?
Yeah, sometimes it takes me a few times to type in his, K6EGG and then locate it that way.
Oh, I said W. Okay, I forgot it's K. Okay.
Anyway, I was going to ask you, Rob, that when you're on FM and you've been keyed down for maybe a minute, have you noticed that the temperature on your radio kind of creeps up?
I'll be honest, Curtis, I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I don't look at that. Maybe I should.
Yeah, I was talking to my son today on his way home from down the hill, and of course on FM, and sometimes I key down for about a minute, and I've noticed that cooling on that one screen where it has all the SWR and compression and ALC, that it went out actually halfway up to on the heating side, and I'd never noticed that before. But right now I'm talking, and it's barely maybe 2 bars it moved up on single sideband. Of course, that's sideband is only 50% duty cycle, so on a constant wave, it seems like my radio goes up, if I keep it keyed down for about a minute, it goes up about halfway. It doesn't say hot, but it goes up halfway between cool and hot.
Interesting. Well, I'm mostly using sideband lately. I'm not on FM nearly as much as I used to be, but I'll have to start paying attention to that.
Well, you talked... Excuse me. Are you talking about transmitting on FM only there, and it starts to heat up there, Curtis? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like right now on sideband, I can keep a key down for about a minute or so, and it might move up maybe 2 bars. But on FM, if I keep it keyed down for about a minute, it goes up to about halfway between cool and hot, and I can hear my fan come on the radio. I never watched that little meter before. I just recently say, oh, maybe I should pay attention to this.
Yeah, FM is continuous duty cycle, and sideband is not. So it's not as hard. That frequency modulation will really, you temperature up. But I was listening to the live stream. I turned this off, so I just caught the last end of that. You guys sound perfectly on now. I mean, just you tune each other in, just like I did. My readout says 249.96. I don't care. You know, that's it. I really don't care. As long as we all hear one another, we're all, you guys can be 250.3, 250.6, 250.1, and I'm down here for 249.96. It doesn't bother me. I can hear you perfectly. Over.
And you actually sound better now to me, too, Alex. Hey, Keith, if you're still out there, where's your dial at?
249.96.
Cool, and you sound great to me. I think we're all dialed in.
That's it. Don't worry about the readout. Just listen. Play it by ear, man.
I'll chime in to Kilo November 6 JSC. Hopefully I'm on frequency. You guys all sound great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have noticed that usually when I hear Fred, to me, he sounds like a little low in frequency.
All the time.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just train my ear. Okay, well, I understand what he's saying. You know, it's better for me to just leave where it is, and because if I change to him, everybody else will change.
That's right. Don't do it. Make him come up.
Who was the last station that chimed in, said we all sounded good and on frequency? I didn't catch the call sign.
That was me. That was Kilo November 6, Juliet Sierra Zulu, Sean, Lakewood.
Hey, Sean.
Hey.
I'm terrible at writing call signs down. That's November 6. I'm sorry. Kilo November 6. What was the rest of it?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry, I started the stream and I just got some new internet today and was having some upload issues and download issues. So I was trying to get those worked out. So I didn't have my picture on the screen, but I was definitely listening in the background. I also changed out the microphone that I'm using right now, or been using the last couple weeks. It's a Neumann TLM-103. Neumann TLM-103. It's a condenser microphone that I have to use a preamp for to get into the radio because it's you need 48 volts for it. Anyways, it's good to be back on. I'm gonna go back to the main screen here, get some stuff going on here.
You were like 60 over here where I'm at, over here on Western Street near the Long Beach City College. 60 over, you're slamming.
Yeah, I got you, plus 20. I think you're the one who lives pretty close. You're over there off of Viking Way, or is it North?
Well, I'm near North Way. I'm up the street on Western Street.
Yeah, we're real close. I'm over here on Paramount and Harvey.
Paramount and Harvey. Well, that's
Yeah, I'm just a little north of Carson, just north of Long Beach Airport.
Paramount the other direction. I mean, so you're on Carson, you're over there near Walmart, over.
Yeah, I'm right over there, just a little more north, kind of by the golf course.
Okay, I know where you're at. That direction.
Well, Sean, we definitely have something else in common. I see you go off-roading.
I do. I got that 94 Jeep Cherokee that I can't quit. I just love it to death, but it's pretty old now.
Hey, it's for off-roading. That's all that matters. I love my Jeep. That's how I got into this hobby. We were putting comms in our Jeeps, and everybody was getting rid of CBs and going with ham radio, so here I am.
That's what I was kind of doing. I got GMRS, and then I was like, this is stupid. I'm going to get something better. And then I started getting into ham, and well, now it's an addiction that is probably need to seek help for.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying the ham radio hobby more than off-roading. Still love off-roading, but I don't do it nearly as much as I can do the ham stuff.
Yeah, last week I was up in Fraser Park and I was messing around on top of some summits and seeing who was biting on the Simplex. It was pretty fun, but it was not a lot of the roads are open right now for
fun stuff, though. You gotta love it. Nice little station you got going. You got some cool equipment.
Work in progress. I don't know what I want to get. I want to get the 7100 for like more of a mobile kind of out camping kind of thing, and then I'll probably end up getting a 991 like all you guys, or a 7300 just to be the odd person out.
7300 or 9700?
Probably a 7300, and maybe just keep the 7100 for single sideband 2 meter, since I think only the 9700 is like the only other thing that does it, and the 991.
Yeah, Roger. Well, there's nothing wrong with that 7100, that's for sure. That's a nice radio.
Sean, when you were in Fraser Park, did you have that new antenna where you got to try it out?
No, not yet. Supposed to be getting here this week, so I'm waiting. They're based in Wyoming, but I guess it's like a pretty much small shop, so orders take like 2 to 5 days to process, and then they probably send it out by like covered wagon or something. I haven't even gotten the tracking number yet.
Oh, I see. It's on order. I thought you already had it. Gotcha.
Hopefully this week.
Now remind me where Fraser Park is.
That's about maybe 90 miles north. You gotta take the 5 past Gorman and exit Fraser Park. It's like the last exit just before you drop down the Grapevine.
Okay, I can kind of picture where that's at now. I'm thinking of like, what are some local like hills to do some low power fun? And I'm thinking like, how high is Whittier Hills? That's pretty close. That's probably the closest hill.
Yeah, there's that one you can drive up in Whittier. I forget the name, but that's pretty close, and it's definitely got some more height above Signal Hill. Signal Hill gets crowded too.
And there's some down there in Orange County that aren't too far from where I work. That's another possibility. There's one, I think Newport Coast area. It's I heard like 2,400 feet or something like that. That's not bad.
I don't know what kind of car you got. There's also Santiago Peak. That's a pretty easy. It's like a fire road going up to it. It's not that bad of a drive, but that's pretty much all the height around here.
Yeah, that's where all the repeaters are. Yeah, I'm not designed to be able to do off-roading.
How's it going, everybody, tonight? K6EGG.
Hey, Greg, how's it going? November 6th, kilowatt X-ray, Rob in Riverside.
I'm doing good, just dealing with some internet issues. I got new internet tonight, and it's having some problems, so to have the stream up, but it's not working quite the way it should be. But anyways, just want to say hello to everybody tonight, and I also changed my microphone as well.
What?
Does it sound any different to you?
It does sound a little bit different. Let me listen to you some more, though.
Greg, can you run some power?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. All right, there goes some power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is TLM 103, Neumann microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well, it definitely has more bass.
I agree completely.
Is it too much? Because I had to add some into it because this mic inherently doesn't have a lot of low end like the RE20.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I'm thinking and listening before I make a comment, so you guys keep talking.
Yeah, I have no way to monitor it like you guys do, so it's kind of hard to make that decision on my end. I listen to it through the monitor, but it just sounds more higher end to me, so I add a little low end into it. So I don't know if that sounds better or worse than I did before.
We spoke earlier today, and right now I'm getting kind of a warble. I don't know what, if it's just atmosphere or whatever, but I'm getting a little warble on my end.
I'm actually getting that from you as well. You could probably hear that on the stream.
Must be in the atmosphere then, huh?
Keith, you're booming in here tonight in Riverside. You're a +3 red bars. You're hitting it. You're nailing it.
Am I warble to you also?
Not at all. Clear as crystal clear.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Greg.
Very, very strange. Now, did it change when I turned my amplifier on?
Well, your signal for me was weak, where I was, you were kind of just a hair above the noise level. When you turned the power on, I heard you a lot better, but you had a little warble. Doesn't seem like it's warbly right now, though.
See, I can hear a little bit of flutter in your voice right now. It sounds like it's RF, though. It doesn't sound like it's like something wrong, you know what I mean?
Okay, now the warble's totally gone as far as I'm concerned.
AJ60, it's weird because on my beam antenna, your audio sounds perfect. When I flip over to my omnidirectional, it sounds like it has just a little bit too much bass.
Yeah, I agree, and I would add that I think that too much bass is making it sound flatter overall. It just sounds more monotone. It's not as clear as the other microphone.
Well, I think it's sexy.
Are you familiar with his other microphone?
Is it ham sexy? I just turned down the bass a little bit there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely doesn't sound bad by any means, but I think the other microphone sounded a little bit better to me. And again, this is only for comparison's sake. In comparison to the other microphone, I think this current one sounds a little bit more muffled, for lack of a better word.
I had someone say that before when I did a comparison back and forth right away, so maybe I'll put the other microphone back on here.
Just out of curiosity, what made you decide to put that one on?
Audio-wise, when I'm talking in directly into it without the radio, it sounds about 1,000 times better. But I think the other microphone is better for radio, and that's kind of why it was an AM radio announce mic.
Interesting. Yeah, to me, the other one sounds better.
All right, give me a few minutes. I'll keep the live stream up, and I'll be back. K6EGG, sorry for breaking in, by the way.
Got to get out of here, Greg. So it was good talking to you. Fun while it lasted. And everybody else, enjoy the evening. 7-3, November 6th, Kilowatt X-ray, Rob in Riverside.
73, Rob.
See you later, Rob. AJ60.
73, Rob, W6WWD.
Hey, Ward, good to hear you out there. Have a good evening, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
You too, 73, take care.
What's going on, Ward?
Oh, not too much, Keith. Just I turned back on the radio or walked back in the room and heard you guys out here. Just thought I'd say hello and just taking it easy. How about you?
Yeah, same. Greg's streaming right now, but he's doing a modification. I think he's changing out his microphone. He was trying a different microphone on, and I think he's changing it out to the other one that he had on before.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, that's always fun to do. I know I've tried that, and it didn't always work out so well, but, I'm just sticking to the hand mic, but everybody sounds good out here tonight.
Roger that.
How's the band tonight? Is it cooperating?
so.
That's good. Well, the noise level is definitely lower, at least that's what I did, but it's definitely been lower today.
Hey, Shud, are you checking out the live stream?
Say that again?
Are you checking out the live stream? The K6EGG live stream?
Yeah, I just saw him presenting the microphone. K6EGG.
Hey, Sean.
I just know if you were aware of it or not. Pretty cool.
KN6JSV, AJ60.
Hey Curtis, how you doing? I hear you pretty loud today from Apple Valley. You always, before you're kind of quiet, so I don't know if it's anything I did by raising my antenna, but you're coming in pretty strong tonight.
Yeah, yours sounded good too. I mean, not a real strong signal, but audio is awesome. I just wanted to say I'm glad to see that somebody else likes to use Unistrut for their antenna installations.
Oh, that thing's bomb-proof. I love it.
I have made so many antennas using Unistrut. It's like, well, since I'm a retired electrician, that's like electrician's delight.
I have that thing with giant lag bolts and it's all grounded. Everything I did everything right for once on that, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah, in fact, just a couple days ago, I put guide ropes on my GP9, but my roof is tile, so I really didn't have any place to tie it off to guide my antenna. So I use Unistrut like in an X form, two-hole strap or strap to my mask, and then I use those to bring the guide ropes down, and it works really cool.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. My project that I'm undertaking now is guying down my HF antenna, so I cut off these little kind of 4-inch chunks of some Unistrut, and I got them in like four corners of the house. So once all the guy wire gets there too, that's going to be my next project.
I even used a lot of Unistrut when I made a 17-meter rotatable dipole. I mean, it looks kind of funky, but I tell you what, I can hang off it. It ain't going to fall down.
You guys got winds out there too, so that's pretty heavy duty stuff. So it sounds like that'll hold up.
Yep, it's a universal material for building just about anything. Anyway, I'll go back and see if Greg is back on frequency. So 73 to you, Sean, KN6JSV, AJ60.
Yep, I'm back. How's the sound difference sound?
Any takers out there?
This is Ward, W6WWD. I kind of liked the prior microphone. This one always sounds good, but for some reason the other one had a little better tone for my bad ears.
Interesting. By the way, Ward, you're over +9 tonight, which you're normally just a little bit under 9, so your signal's doing a little better, I think.
Oh, thanks. Well, good. Well, hopefully it's probably the conditions, but hopefully all the additional grounding this weekend helped as well.
Yep, I got to get to that. I'm going to give that a shot there in a couple weeks, hopefully the second week of May. So I talked a little bit longer here. I'm also noticing on my scope, I don't know if you can see my audio scope, it seems cleaner, is the best term I can use with this microphone. Does this mic sound cleaner to you guys?
Well, I'll finish and go, yeah, I think it did. I think for for me, the low to mid seem fine, and you do sound a little cleaner. Your RE20 seems a little on the low, on the bassy side, at least for my ears, okay? And I'm listening to you through my Heil parametric receive, so I could kind of, adjust my mids and everything, and this one here sounds pretty good.
So this is the RE20, and you said this one sounds a little bit too low. I'm actually seeing on the scope there. If you're watching the live stream, the left is the lower frequencies and the right is the higher frequencies. And I do see the peaks on the lower frequencies higher than the higher frequencies. So I'll lower the bass a little bit here to see if that makes a difference.
You always sound good, but the other one seemed to, there was definitely a difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, the other one was definitely, I'd say, more full. This one's kind of more crisp and a little flatter. I think the other one sounded better, but, this one's definitely more, less bassy.
So this one's less bassy?
This one's more bassy. The RE20 is more bassy than your prior. That's just what I'm hearing. But the other one seemed to have a little better mid to high for my ears.
Yeah, I'm also noticing on the scope as well. Not a lot of highs in there.
I'll be back, guys. I got a phone call, 73W6WWD.
So is the RE20 EQ'd how you normally always used it in the past?
Now it is, so that should sound a little better. I was adjusting the treble instead of the lows, so it should sound like I normally would sound before.
Okay, now you sound exactly how I'm used to hearing you.
Now, with that change, does that sound better with the other microphone that I used when I first started, or worse, or just different?
Well, to me, I like the one you're using right now. The other one seemed to have more bass, but you can definitely hear that microphone does have bass to it, and it's more, not as pronounced. But it's just to my ears, you sound better with this microphone.
Thank you. I ran this test before, and a couple people, and I didn't tell them which microphone I had going, and the three people I talked to, they all said this one, the RE20, sounded more pronounced and clear and cleaner.
Yeah, now that you have it EQ'd how you normally do it, I think it sounds better.
Sean, does this sound any different than than the other microphone, or what's your feeling? That's a bummer. We lost Sean. I was going to ask him about his antennas there.
So of the two microphones you have, which one is like the most pricey?
The TLM 103, I think it's like, I got to double check the price on it, but I know it's at least double the price of the RE20.
Okay, yeah, the Neumann, however you pronounce it, that's really made for more of music, and then the RE20 is more for like broadcast quality, I'm assuming?
Yeah, well, yeah, the what's it called? The RE20 here, I'm knocking it, sorry. They can also use it for kick drum and stuff that it's pretty famous for being used.
but primarily the TLM is used for vocals in a studio setting, so it's not. I don't know. What I was using it for, like I was telling Rob, it sounds 100 times better in my ear when I'm just like listening to it on my mixer than this microphone that I'm talking into the RE20. But this one's more designed for what I'm using it for, so this application seems to work for it.
Yeah, and I have heard on YouTube before with other people that use the RE20, and they all sound fantastic. And I would probably have one, but because of what they cost, I do not own one. So, yeah, I know that one is probably voice more for the human voice than the Neumann is pretty much, you can probably EQ it and make it sound just like this one. But I think the Electro Voice, to me, is the best of the two.
And by the way, the TLM 103 retails with no clips, mounts, or anything for $1,100 new. I bought that one particularly on eBay used for like $900.
Wow, that's pretty good. So are both of those, is that one you're using and the other one, they're both dynamic microphones?
No, the RE20 is a dynamic microphone, and the TLM is or the Neumann TLM 103 is a condenser microphone that we need 48 volts for.
Yeah, I have a Sennheiser here, a vocal mic, and I used that for a while on my radio, and it sounded fantastic in my ears, but not everybody I talked to agreed with me.
Interesting. I wonder, I gotta find the stock microphone and plug it in and see if the RE20 sounds better than the stock microphone. I'm hoping it does, or I'm hoping the RE20 sounds better.
Yeah, I don't know if you were on the other day when I heard some people talking that the normal hand microphone that comes with the 9700, the element is actually made by Heil.
Yeah, the stock microphones actually sound really, really good. Like, I know Rob sounds. I mean, he's really close to me, but he sounds awesome. Like the clarity in his voice. Oop, I'm spitting everywhere. I was pretty impressed, so I wanted to utilize this microphone since I had it mainly.
Yeah, when I first heard Rob, I would almost swear that he was using some type of expensive microphone because of the voice quality. I don't know, maybe his voice has a certain range to it that just makes that microphone sound really good because it's got a really good bass, but nowhere near overdriving it. It sounds full. So I didn't expect that.
Yep, and I think I remember where I have that microphone. Let me give that a try right now and see how that sounds.
All right, AJ60.
K6EGG.
KG6USS.
Howdy, John.
How you doing, Chris?
Sounds good. I mean, you sound good. Your new microphone and all.
Well, you guys are making me feel bad talking about the microphone.
Well, in ham radio, you want to have a strong signal, and you definitely want to sound good. So it's not unusual that ham radio operators have many hand microphones or microphones.
Oh my! Don't tell me that.
Yep, and the one that you got right now sounds good, and the one you had before sounded good too, if you can actually believe that.
Yeah, Pat and I were, playing with it earlier, switching the microphones in and out and stuff. He said my handheld had a little bit of noise in the background. And he said this one here is real clear.
Yeah, and, I can tell that you're probably, I don't know, how many inches away from the microphone are you?
Yeah, maybe a foot.
Yeah, I can tell you're a foot away because I can kind of hear the ambience of their radio room.
So should I move up closer to it, or should I turn my mic gain up?
Well, like on my microphone, I'm usually about 2 or 3 inches away when I'm talking into it.
So if I got up into it like I am now, would that make a difference?
Oh, yeah, it makes it louder.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out how this works because I know my voice can go over the edge sometimes.
Yeah, and the microphone I'm using is a dynamic microphone, which supposedly it makes it harder to overdrive. So I'm curious, do you know the microphone you're using, is it a dynamic?
All I know is a AC.
It probably is a dynamic, which, they don't put out quite as much voltage to drive your radio, but to me, I think they're better for voice communications because they don't pick up all the background noise and all that stuff. Yeah, you sound good to me. The only problem with using a desk mic as opposed to a hand mic is you have to lean over and talk into the microphone unless you have a microphone stand or thing like Greg has where he can, move it in and out and around. Then, I really should get one of those. The microphone I'm using, you can't use it as on a separate stand.
Okay, well now I turned my mic gain up a little bit, and I am still leaning into it. And yeah, I've been looking at those booms. I'm thinking about that too. I'm getting lazy, I guess.
And this is Greg, K6EGG with the stock microphone.
But when I'm in my mobile and I'm using my hand microphone, it's nice to be able to just, look one way, look the other, and still keep the same distance away from the microphone. There is a plus to using hand microphones.
Right. Yeah, see, and I'm so used to having, from, trucking and stuff, having my microphone right on my face because I use the Road King microphones all the time, so I know it makes a big difference with these kind of radios not to do that.
Comment?
Go ahead, comment.
All right, I'm back, Curtis, with my stock microphone right here. How does this sound compared to the RE20 there?
Well, you know what? It sounds good. It sounds good, but I don't think it's nowhere near as good as the RE20, at least with the EQ you have it on right now.
I have it pretty flat right now. I think I had it a little bit of high end onto it. That's about it.
I mean, it sounds good. There's no doubt about it. But, maybe because in my eyes and in my mind, I see you on your streaming thing and you got an RE20. I mean, not too many people have one of those. So if I didn't know that, it would probably sound better. But the hand mic, it sounds good, just not quite as good as your other one.
Copy that, and now I'm back on the RE20.
Yeah, that one I can definitely hear, the bass and the low end is pronounced, but it's nowhere near overdriving. It's, I don't know how you explain it. You're an audio guy, you've got, you can hear the full spectrum, at least within 3 kilohertz that we transmit on, but somehow you're able to get that all squeezed in there.
Copy that. I appreciate the info. So this has been some good testing there. So I'm going to take a quick standby, let you guys continue your conversation. I think that's Eric, right?
It's John up here in the high desert. He's in Phelan.
Oh, copy that. He kind of sounds like Eric up in Sugarloaf. So I'll be back in just a quick few minutes. I got to run an errand real quick.
And the live stream will stay up.
Yells out there. How about Fred? I haven't heard you on the radio today. Well, yeah, I did earlier, but not tonight. So what else is happening, John?
Not much, you know. Waiting for this weather to clear up so we can get these doggone antennas done.
Yeah, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow, too.
Here?
Yep, that's on the, I just clicked on the weather. It's supposed to have high winds, which is, you knew that already. And tomorrow we're supposed to have light rain.
Yeah, but we were supposed to have high winds starting at 7 o'clock tonight. It is dead calm out here.
Well, I guess weather forecasting isn't exact science. I know it was dead calm where I live at Napa Valley this morning, and then this afternoon the wind came up, but not really bad, about 20 miles an hour, I think the highest it got up to.
Well, it wasn't really hard wind or anything like that, but it was enough to be miserable all afternoon because it was so chilly. I'm done with this cold. Jeez.
Yeah, me too. Right now it's 57, so I'm assuming it's probably about 60 where you are.
I don't know. I don't have my phone on me, so I don't know what it is. But like I say, it's dead calm out here right now. So that's, you're saying it's going to rain, so that says that, the calm before the storm.
Yep, and I'm keeping an eye on the weather because this Sunday coming up, all my family is coming up with my grandkids, and we're going to celebrate Easter, and this will be the first time in many, many years that all my sons and daughter-in-laws and grandkids are all going to be at one place at the same time. Help me, Jesus.
Oh, no, you're going to have a super spreader, aren't you?
I hope not.
I'm kidding, right?
Yeah, I know you're kidding, and I know I've been checked because when I had open heart surgery, they wouldn't admit me to the hospital until they did a COVID-19 check, and I'm clean.
Exactly. I got to go help a friend of mine move this Sunday. He was going to do it on Saturday. Now I'm looking at my calendar, and it's Saturday night is the beginning of Passover. So it's kind of hard to rectify what I'm going to be doing, except for the fact that I'm helping out a friend that's in need.
Well, I would say helping a friend in need probably supersedes just about everything.
It does, exactly. If your donkey falls into a hole and you walk by, you're a really lousy person.
Yeah, you definitely can't tell it. I'll be back in a couple of days and help you out. Just be calm.
Exactly. So, he came up here and helped cut wood over, when we had Thanksgiving and stuff, and this guy's got cancer and stuff. I don't know how he's doing it. He's got stage 4 cancer. He's got a bag hanging on his side, and he doesn't stop. He's in his 40s, and he's just strong and tough, and he's gonna get through this. And he's doing good.
Yeah, well, he's got good friends that right there willing to help him, and it's hard to find people that will, they'll say they'll help you, but when it's time to move or something, I'm going to be out of town that day. So, plus, I don't know anybody who likes moving. Oh, I hate that with a passion. Anyway, I'm going to take make a standby because I've been on the frequency just a little bit too much lately. So talk to you later, John. KG6 USS AJ60.
AJ60, KG6 USS. I'm going to step out of here too. I got to go in the house and throw another log on the fire. 72.
Anybody else on frequency tonight? This is Greg, K6EGG, from the city of Chino. Quiet tonight. Keith and everybody probably took off.
I'm still around, just checking things out.
Welcome back.
I just been kind of, listening.
I'll tell you what, last night when I got off the radio, I went and took a shower, and I was asleep within 10 minutes.
I have a tendency to be able to fade pretty easily also.
I normally don't. I have to take medication and go to sleep probably about 6 nights a week. So I was really excited to do that.
Oh, to help you sleep, you have to take some pills?
Yeah, I take Ambien. They prescribe me like a milligram, but I usually just split it in half most of the nights if I have to take it. Well, taking the full one kind of makes you a little cuckoo. And they're great for red-eye flights, by the way. You fall asleep like that.
The next morning, you feel kind of groggy from it, or are you fine?
If I take the full one multiple nights in a row, I definitely do. The funny thing was, is the doctor didn't really explain to me how they worked. I thought they were like a medication, like to help your sleep cycle. So I thought it was like you had to take it every day. So I was taking it every day. I took it every day for a month, and I went back in. And he asked me how I felt. I told him what I felt, and I felt like groggy, headache, kind of fuzzy. And I told him, he asked me how often I took it. I go, I took it every night, like it said on the bottle. And he's like, well, you're really just supposed to use it when you can't fall asleep, or you want to fall asleep right away. Don't take it every night. And he's like, cut the thing in half if you're kind of tired but you can't fall asleep. And so I've kind of fluctuated on how I take it, and it's actually worked wonders with me, and it's really helped me get some rest. So, but I try not to take it every single night because that gets really bad.
Okay, that's interesting.
But I know some people that I worked with, and they've taken it, and either they got some sort of addiction from it, or they get cuckoo and like go out for a drive or something, or eat a bunch of food in the middle of the night and not realize it till they wake up. And that's something I definitely never done.
Who all is out here right now?
Let's do a roll call. K6EGG, City of Chino, 2 miles north of the Chino Airport.
WA6QXA, Keith here in Long Beach.
Alpha Juliet 6 Oscar, Curtis in Apple Valley. Hey, Greg, were you on frequency when Eric, W6GLA, was testing out a new microphone tonight?
Yeah, I was testing it out with him. I heard it was weird, like some buzz on there. Actually, it was a hum.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the first time I ever heard of a microphone that had a condenser and dynamic in the same mic, and you can run them both at the same time. Now, that's, I've never heard of the M100. Then I went online and go, to look it up, and hey, that's like $500 microphone.
What was the name of it again?
M100 by Yaesu.
I'm going to look that up. Hey, is there any way that you can record me right now? I'd love to see how I sound directly to you.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Just start talking and I'll record.
Oh, yeah. I'm checking out this Yaesu M100. It's $516. Wow. Wow. That's pretty amazing. That's more than this microphone that I'm talking on right now, this RE20.
Okay, give me a minute because I got to take my SD card out of my radio, put it in my laptop, rename the file, and then put it back in my radio.
Is that what you have to do to play it back? Because I just ordered a card so I can do the firmware update. So I'll have to hit you up on that when you get back.
Yeah, the radio won't do it, automatically. You have to take the card out and find the folder that says voice, which is all your recordings that you made, and you have to rename it to like voice TX1 or up to 9, and then you put it back in the radio, and then you push the menu and you go to voice, and you push either T1, T2, or all the way up to T9, and it'll play it.
Very interesting. I guess I'll experiment it around with that tomorrow night when I get it.
Yeah, for standby, and I'll convert this file over and play it.
Hey, Keith, do you hear him flutter in and out right there?
You know what? I was listening to your feed, so I'm not sure.
Then you might have definitely seen it, because he was like a S7 or whatever, and then he disappeared.
I don't think I was noticing it when I'm hearing him live, but when I noticed it just now when I was listening to your feed.
I copy, and I just got your movie there, it looks like. Or not movie, but the video from... it says movie on there. The video of my voice. I'm going to take a listen.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to do a little test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's weird. You have the same noise that I have in my house.
Okay, I'm ready to play it. I'm on my beam antenna, so Keith can actually hear it too.
Copy that. I'm ready for you. It's going on the internet.
All right, here it goes.
This Yaesu M100, $516. Wow. Wow, that's pretty amazing. That's more than this microphone that I'm talking on right now, this RE20.
Okay, well, your signal isn't full quieting to me, Greg, so you probably heard some noise in the background.
I did. That was an excellent way for me to hear myself. That's really cool. The other question I have with that, when you play it back, does it play it back directly through the radio, or do you have to hold it to a speaker or something weird?
No, it'll play right through the transmitter.
Very, very interesting. I kind of like that. I can't wait to do that with my radio tomorrow. And did you do the firmware update, by the way?
I did. I'm up to 1.4, and it works good. It gives you a couple other features that I didn't have before.
Did you lose your memory at all when you did it?
I have all my stuff backed up multiple times, so I just, when I did it, it did wipe it out, but I reinstalled it.
Copy that. That's good to know. I'll have to shoot the file from my radio into my RT system software. Should back everything up before I do this.
Yeah, I backed it up to the SD card, plus I have it multiple backed up on RT software.
Oh, I didn't know you can do that on the SD card as well.
Yeah, it says save. Let me see. There, then you go to the SD card, and it has a button, Save Settings. And then it'll ask you, are you sure? And you go, yes, and it'll save it to the SD card.
That's settings, memories, and everything?
Everything that you have your radio set up to, to run by.
Very cool. So I'll be experimenting around with that tomorrow. Hopefully, if I get the SD card and do that firmware update. Does it change I heard it changes the audio scopes that I'm looking at right now if you're watching the live stream.
Yeah, like if you push, after you do the software, the firmware update, you push the sensor fix, and it'll change to a scrolling spectrum analyzer or spectrum scope, so that normally, without the firmware update, if you scroll over in sensor fix, you can actually go off the screen and you don't even know what frequency, where you at. But they now fixed it so that when you scroll and you get to the either left or right-hand screen, it shows up on the other side, and it either increments or de-increments the frequencies.
Wow. I can't wait to see that now. So the scope looks a little different on that, so my screen will look different tomorrow when I update it.
Yeah, and, a little bit. It'll show up a little icon on the top of the screen where it says spectrum scope. If you're, it'll put it in scroll C mode is what it's called, and you can't miss it because it's got an orange background. It also changes the multifunction button so that it does more things than it did before.
Excellent, I can't wait. I'm always a little bit nervous doing a firmware update. I did a firmware update on my router this afternoon, right before I got my Frontier Fios installed that I'm using right now to do the upload for my YouTube stream, and I seem to mess up the Wi-Fi, so I don't have as fast Wi-Fi download now. Even when I check the connection through the cable that I'm plugged in directly to my router or a switch, it's what I'm supposed to be getting speed-wise, so I know it's something with the router.
K6EGG AJ60. One other thing that you really need to do before you update the firmware is click on the RT system software and have it check for upgrades or updates to the software, because when I updated my firmware, the RT system software would not work anymore. So I had to wait maybe 4 or 5 days before they updated their software, and now it works.
That's interesting. I'll definitely update it right now as we're talking. I have my other computer open, so I'm going to update that software right now, see if there's an update for it first.
So, Greg, you asked us, excuse me, Flutter from Curtis. No, he sounds good tonight to me. By the way, you didn't change your clock on your radio.
Oh, it did it a week late. I'm going to have to change that now again.
Hey, Greg, who is SoCal Simplex Archive from St. Peter? Is that guy Dave?
I think it's somebody that's been watching the YouTube stream, and he has his own stream himself that he puts on Facebook and one of the ham radio groups. What's that called? The SDR thing or whatever he's doing, which actually shows the bandwidth and everything.
Oh, okay, it's a different person then. Too bad he never joins us, huh?
you have to scroll down to where it says SD card.
That's weird. The clock didn't update.
I think that unless you have your radio connected to the internet, I don't think it'll do it automatically.
So it's 1,900 hours right now, correct?
21, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad.
Boy, I'm all of a sudden getting some static out there.
There you go. I'm now legal.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to call it an evening. It's been a pleasure. Good job again, Greg, on your streaming. Always like to check it out.
Excellent, Keith. Yeah, you're sounding a little tired, buddy. Starting to fall off a cliff there. So have a good night and have a nice day at work tomorrow.
Yeah, good night, Keith. And I'm also going to jump out of here, too, and go get me something to drink and watch something on Prime TV or YouTube or something. I'll probably go back and re-listen to Greg's live stream. That's always fun to see, to hear yourself and say, oh, why did I say that? That was so stupid. Anyway, good night, Keith, and good night, Greg, K6EGG, AJ60.
Good night.
Good night, Curtis, AJ60. This is Greg, K6EGG. I'm probably going to sign off myself here. I got to run some quick little tests. Anyways, take care. K6EGG is now clear.
7-3, scan 6OS.
Hey there, Sandbagger.
Yeah, well, I had to go to dinner with my sister. She's going for an eye operation tomorrow. So, both eyes, so she won't be able to see for about 10 or 12 days. So, this is last dinner with her brother.
Copy that. It's good to hear you. I think I'm going to bail out of here, though. I'm getting a little tired myself. Kind of still recovering from yesterday. So, take care, Fred. I'll be back tomorrow night, though, for sure.
Did you hear about Rob? Did he say, I didn't get on the discussion, he said his ground definitely works. Did he tell you about that?
Yeah, he did. I was actually I wanted to see some pictures of what he did for his ground. I can't tell myself because he's just so booming in here. But he said he noticed a difference on the signal strength meter from my radio. He compared, I guess, the whatever couple nights or whatever. He said something about it on my a comment on the YouTube page, and he quickly mentioned it online here.
Yes. Okay, 73s, we'll catch you later. K6EGG, north of the Chino Airport out there, KN6 73s from Cerritos, California.
Copy that, Fred, and have a good evening. Yeah, that is Dave, KN6 IRV. I can't read. My screen's so small. That is listening. That's the SoCal Simplex archive. By the way, if you're listening to the stream, check it out. Anyways, I'm going to sign off here, at least the radio part of it.
Oh, yeah, I see that. NI6, Kilo November 6I, Radio Victor. He said he's going to join us when he gets his 2-meter sideband radio there. That's what he's saying.
Yep, copy that. It'd be good to have somebody else out here. So he's listening and getting used to us. All right, take care, Fred.
73s, KN6OS, 73s.
All right, everybody. That would conclude my my night of like 2 hours and 20 minutes only tonight. And I wasn't even on most of the time. My eyes are all getting all red there. Anyways, have a good night. I did some microphone test between the RE20 and the TLM 103. By the way, I'm going to add some high end into this a little bit. Take a little bit of bass out. There we go. That probably sounds a little bit better. Didn't get a real good check after I changed microphones. I know I had to change some settings to the other microphone, the TLM 103. So anyways, you guys have a good night, and I'll hopefully see you tomorrow.